welcome to another week of the Abuse Cartoons live stream. Let's get this a little closer. Alright, so I hope we're all set up. So sorry about last week. A little, a little pain, a little dental work. So I was swollen and pretty unsightly. I don't think I could have talked continuously for very long, so it would have been a pretty brutal stream, a mute stream, which may be preferable. Who knows? But yeah, glad to be back this week. And sorry, it's an off day, so yeah, this is Thursday here. So hopefully people are around for Wednesday, and I'm a little bit earlier than usual because it's the schedule is a little busier than I anticipated. So I'll I can do about 3 hours this week, and then I'm gonna have to do some more driving. So hopefully that'll be enough time. If I'm really stuck for ideas, that might not be enough time. So I hope everyone is doing well. And yeah, so last week I just did cartoons off stream, so we'll take a look at those in the comments segment. We'll take a look at gocomics.com and see how they went over. Hey Sedona, how's it going? Yeah, sorry about the weird schedule and missing last week, but it was a little unavoidable. I was not fit for camera or streaming. But yeah, things should be getting better now. I've got another appointment next week, and that should get close to fixing everything. The problem with going to the dentist in Japan is they don't have very strong pain medication here. So you can't get any Tylenol 3 or anything if you've got really bad pain. They just have like maybe super acetaminophen is like the strongest pain relief, which is actually really hard on your kidneys. So not great, but yeah, they have a very different relationship to pain here. Like natural childbirth is the preferred method, and there's actually a kind of a weird pride that a lot of mothers have that they didn't have any anesthesia or the spinal block or the epidural or anything for delivery. But that seems a little extreme. But there's a very different relationship to pain and pain treatment than in other countries. Like some pain is just tolerated and expected, which I guess is healthy, but for some people like me, sustained pain is really depressing. It's like really mentally difficult. So, but that's another one of those things. Clove oil. Thank you, Sedona. Yeah, I will take a look and see what I can find. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, I think the worst part is over, I hope. So we'll see. Yeah, it was really last week that it was the most painful, and I had to just try to sleep through most of it. And it was, maybe still a little bit of inflammation, but yeah, my side of my face was brutal. Not fit for streaming live. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm drawing a series of cylinders. But yeah, hope you're doing well, Sedona, and things are calming down in the wide world of bad weather. My daughter is just going back to school for the first time in a week because there were some students positive, some positive students at her school. Pretty young too, 3rd graders. So it's getting everybody now. But yeah, other than that, everything's pretty normal. I think we're on the the down the downside of the spike right now. Oh. So that's good. It was pretty short, pretty quick. But they said they're expecting more in March. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, biting on a tea bag. Oh, interesting. Yeah, they're slow. They're just starting with the boosters here, and of course they're doing the same thing they did before, where high risk and frontline workers and stuff are first on the list. And it's interesting. My sister-in-law, she had a kind of an allergic reaction to the second time, and so that maybe they recorded that, and they denied her for a booster because they said if you've had difficulty, and it was just it wasn't a clinic. It was just one of those kind of pop-up stations that was doing it. So the staff wasn't like doctors and trained. It was just trained staff. It wasn't doctors and nurses, and so they refused her to have a booster at the just the little center, and said you should probably have it at a clinic, because if you had an allergic reaction before, if you have something more severe, because it was breathing, like she couldn't breathe directly afterwards. So they said you're going to have it at a clinic because it may be too risky. If anything goes wrong, they weren't equipped to deal with it. So lots of fun, but they're being careful here. I mean, that's the one thing that if anything, they're very careful. Very careful here. Wow, it's warmer than I thought in my room. Yeah. That was the biggest, and that's always the biggest concern here is allergies. So there's a huge range of allergies, and actually some young kids have insane food allergies. Sometimes they grow out of it, but very early on, no dairy, no wheat, all the kind of basic stuff. So they have to, a lot of mothers have to go through kind of special preparations for kids, and sometimes it, as they grow up, it goes away, and sometimes it doesn't. So yeah, allergies is the big thing here. And I've heard different kinds of things. I think I've talked about before. They have a ceremony, the 100-day ceremony, where the baby eats the first real food. So they don't actually eat the ceremonial food, like they present like a giant Thai, like a big kind of reddish colored fish, and a lot of kind of very traditional Japanese food, and the baby doesn't actually eat that, or can eat parts of that, but it's a ceremony where they eat their first real food. And there's been some criticism that in Japan that might be part of the allergy problem, is kids are exposed to just adults style food a little earlier, so they have allergic reactions and things a little stronger. But I think that might just be a culture bias. So a lot of that kind of stuff, saying that. But I thought that was interesting. That's the one criticism, is they have kids eating real food, unprocessed food basically, whereas a lot of American kids are eating processed mushy baby food for a lot longer probably than they need to. Oh wow, yeah. I've had I never had pollen allergies before, and but after being here, I have them really bad, and they're coming. Yeah, they start in February every year, so I have to get the antihistamine going. Yeah, it's brutal if you don't pay attention to it. The first time I ever had really bad pollen allergies, I thought I had the flu, because I had a high fever and was had the chills and everything. So I was like, oh no, I'm getting sick. I had the flu, but it was just an extreme allergy reaction to pollen. They have a lot of yellow cedar here, which I guess have very vicious pollen. The actual pollen itself is very sharp and irritating, and so I never had allergies before, but developed them here. Oh, interesting. Yeah. So it's funny, the later in life allergies is it's a strange thing. I think that says a lot about what we live in, the kind of contamination we live in, because I guess I mean I don't actually know. It doesn't seem like your body should be breaking down and suddenly be unable to handle things it could handle before. But I don't know how the histamine system works very well. But it's really brutal. What happened there? Okay. But all right, I don't know. I don't know what I'm drawing here. Yeah, definitely. And that's the real heartbreaker. Is spring is the most beautiful. Both spring and fall have pretty bad pollen. Fall from the rice fields and spring from the trees. And both of them are the most beautiful time to be in Japan. The Japanese maples are fiery red and very beautiful, beautiful colors. The beautiful fall leaf colors here, and of course the spring is cherry blossoms. So you get the the most beautiful and the most horrible part, allergy-wise, of the season at the same time. So that's a real shame because you enjoy, you can enjoy the beautiful part of it, but if you're not careful, you're gonna be miserable. Yeah, I get really bad. I don't have so much like congestion and sneezing and stuff, but I just get crazy headaches. Like feels like migraines, but they're just sinus, based, like crazy irritation from pollen. Yeah. Yeah, I thought for sure they were migraines the first time. And I think I even had a CAT scan. Like when I was first here and that first started, I went to the doctor and had a head CT because I was like, what is going on? Why am I feeling like this? And allergies. Yeah, I know. Right. You've got the two nice, mild, beautiful holidays full of pollen, and then you've got this jungle heat through the summer. Yeah, there's not. I mean, winter is not very cold here, so it's not. It's probably similar to the Northwest in the U.S., so it's not that bad. It doesn't get that cold, and it just rains. But the summer, and that's when a lot of people have vacation. Anyhow, they're off from school, and it's family vacation time, so a lot of people come in the summertime, and it's just brutal. Yeah, luckily Japan is they've got good sanitation. Like they take away the trash and everything pretty well, and people aren't too sloppy with throwing stuff in the street, or it would be horrifying. Like that summer heat plus like seafood trash everywhere would be terrible. But yeah, luckily there's not much of that. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah. So not bad. Yeah. So it's not very beautiful. It's kind of gray and cold, but yeah, winter is probably the easiest. That's pretty odd. Winter is probably the easiest season to be here. Just nothing to do and not very beautiful. There's not really winter festivals or anything. Just the New Year holiday is nice. But so that might be worth being in Japan for, to experience that, because there's a lot of like ceremonies at temples and stuff that you can observe. But summer is the all the festivals and fireworks and stuff. So yeah, it's a very mixed bag. But that was the most disappointing thing as I got started to develop allergies here. Suddenly spring was not so beautiful. It was much more dread in the springtime. Oh, I already did a flower pot. I think last week I did a flower pot. Yeah, so it's more of the same, and it doesn't look like things are going to change anytime soon. Everything's just kind of creeping along. It's really disappointing. My daughter will change schools. She'll go to junior high school in the spring, starting in April. And I hope it's, okay. I hope it's nice so she can actually go to school. The worst thing would be to change schools and just have to remote learn. Because the school she's going to, the junior high school, just rebuilt their facilities. They have a big, beautiful new building for it's a high school and junior high school, and it's really nice. Yeah, really looks nice. There's a lot of competition now for in schools in Japan because the student population is getting so small. You know, the whole population is getting smaller, and so there's a lot more competition. So a lot of schools are kind of trying to think long term and be more competitive in the future. So doing a lot of remodeling and building of like newer, updated facilities. So that's nice. Because Japan is also notorious for having schools in the Japanese summer with no air conditioning. And you basically do, most of the summer you go to school. June and July you're in school here. So you only miss the August heat. So yeah, central air is pretty important. Yeah, so in the older school buildings, it's just like 2 electric fans hanging from the ceiling. That's it. And the oscillating fans. So yeah, you get very little relief. And you're wearing, it's a summer uniform, but you're still wearing a school uniform and all that good stuff. So it can be pretty brutal. So we'll see how things work out. This is a whole generation of kids that are not quite understanding the point of anything because nothing is normal. Like they can't see anything as resolving normally or turning out happily because it's just one unpredictable year after another. All right. Well, let me check. I should pay attention to the other chat. Oh, I don't even have that up. Great. I'm doing great. But yeah, when I see screenshots of like the live chat, it's always depressing. Hey Joe, how's it going? I just missed you on another stream. Oh, that was the One Ring. The One Ring stream. That's right. Okay, now I can't. Sorry, I'll turn this off. There we go. Yeah, really good. Really good with this. Yeah, I just hate how the there we go. Nice. Yeah, good to see you, Joe. Yeah, I was at I was doing the unboxing for the One Ring, and I think right as I was, I missed your message, or I just saw your message right as I was ending the stream. But yeah, good to see you, Joe. Hope you're doing good. But yeah, back at it. And sorry, it's on a weird day at an early time, but it's the only time I can fit it. I didn't want to miss 2 weeks in a row because I'm functional now, not comfortable, but functional. And wanted to try to get some cartooning in this week live instead of just doing it off stream. Yeah, hope you're doing good, Joe. It's good to see you. Oh yeah, and because of the spike, the Friday show weekly was just me last week, so we'll see how it goes this week with everybody's situation. If there's no no more cases at schools or daycares or offices, then we'll see. But it's still pretty. The numbers are lower, but still pretty high, and different cities are getting it worse. Like Tokyo was the first to spike, and then the first to kind of start to decrease. So everyone else is getting it now. All right. I don't know. I'm drawing crushed flower pots. I don't know. Yeah, so doing better this week. I think the worst of it is over, but I still have a couple more. That's the difficult thing. Um, I guess it's some in some ways it's good because if there's any complications, then they find it along the way. But the dentist in Japan, if you have anything done, it's a long series of appointments. It's like weekly appointments for like, a month or 2 months because they do things like one step at a time and kind of, do temporary work while they're kind of, slowly doing things. So extends the pain, but it's, if infection or some allergy or something comes up, they can catch it earlier and it doesn't cause so much complication. So I'm used to just in the US, it's just like 1 or 2 visits and you're just done. They do everything very, very hard and fast. But in Japan, it's a much more. So you have to take off a lot more, time from work and things. So that's not ideal because a lot of businesses are not very tolerant of that kind of stuff. A lot of your coworkers get really angry if you have a lot of dentist appointments, and so most people just give up their lunch. Then they just try to do lunch appointments, so not to cause trouble at work, which is just putting that on the pressure on the coworkers is it's a very odd thing. It happens with pregnancies too, with maternity leave here too. um, People are very punishing, and there's still a lot of judgment of a woman with a career and kids because most people's opinion here is you can't have both, so you have to choose. So they have no patience or tolerance for women having to leave, to pick up their kid from daycare if they have a fever or having some allergy or some situation. The coworkers are really, really bad, and even in some cases, the family members, they won't help you. They're like, you're trying to do too much. You shouldn't do. So, it's very frustrating, and that's why most women that are, CEOs or presidents of company or have any status, tenured professors or anything in Japan, they're all divorced or never married, like just guaranteed, just because the society here isn't tolerating. Um, isn't accommodating at all because the daycare is terrible. The attitudes of family members and especially in-laws, is very terrible. So you're just punished as much as possible. But the uh, good thing is that uh, uh, kindergarten starts at 3 years old here, so they don't have so much preschool. So, but by the time, so it's only 3 years that you're really really screwed dealing with daycare. But oh yeah, so in Japan, as far as the vaccine, I don't know what word I can say and not say. Yeah, Japan is like 80%. I mean, it's a very compliant country. Like masks are about 100%. I mean, they're literally like 99.9 because people are always wearing masks for influenza or pollen allergies. So it's not like weird. It's not uncomfortable, or it's not like you know it's already in the culture. I can't think of the word. It's already in the culture, so it's not very. It doesn't feel very foreign. I think in the U.S. and Europe, the mask wearing feels very foreign. The only people you've seen wearing masks are Asian immigrants, and you don't even know, for the most part, why they're wearing masks, if it's a medical reason or whatever. So, but that's the thing that I did experience is when I was flying pretty regularly back and forth to the U.S. and Japan. They have these masks, like they're basically for sleeping. They're like a fabric mask that has pockets in it, and they have these like wet packets. They're like some kind of foam, like a piece of fab. I guess it's like fabric, and but soaked in some liquid, and you put them in the pockets of the mask, and so you have this kind of moisturized breathing. And wearing that on a plane, especially when you're sleeping, like on an international flight, totally kills the the weird sore throat, and then the kind of couple days later, like feeling like you're fighting something. It completely eliminates that. So I was really surprised that this was all very pre-pandemic. So wearing that, I felt uncomfortable because I look it looks very medical, so other passengers would think, oh, maybe something's wrong with him. But for sleeping, that's insanely comfortable because, sleeping on a plane with the recirculated air in your open mouth, you're all dried out. It's horrible. But yeah, they make these kind of not lubricated. There's got to be another, but this is like moisture-based masks for comfortable sleeping in like cold climates, especially for like winter and stuff. If you get sore throats, if you don't want to run a humidifier or you can't, run a humidifier, it's very comfortable. So I wore that on the plane for one flight and had none of that like weird feeling from the flight, after the flight. All right, what am I doing here? Just the same thing again and again. Yeah. No, I think everywhere. I think there's it's very varied, very varied. Yeah, a lot of people, and I mean, but that's it's not it's a good quality for a society to have during a pandemic. It's a bad quality during like a World War II, where everyone is just going to fight to the last person and kill anybody that invades their country. That kind of compliance can be dangerous. I mean, it can be used in bad ways as well. But yeah, at least as far as, because Asia does have is much more the population density, and they are much more on the front lines of all the avian flu and the swine flu and all that stuff. I mean, we're getting hit with those things all the time. So they're used to that, having to do stricter measures for things. So people don't feel it strange because it's been around for a while. It's been kind of the medical response. Oh, this is something interesting that came from the pandemic. I read something that said for the first time since like the 1970s or something, the suicide rate in Japan is actually lower than in America. That never happens. And what they're crediting it to is the Japanese government created a new position to help with outreach and suicide prevention and kind of mental health, I think, as well. But the translation of the position is the Minister of Loneliness. That's my favorite name for a political position everywhere. So this new position, this Minister of Loneliness, like they have funding, and they're probably, because the a big kind of mental health problem in Japan is the hikikomori, the kind of young men that are of like university or just after university age that kind of failed in whatever their goals were, or didn't get into a school, or went through everything, barely got through it, but socially they had so much trouble functioning either in school or in work situations that they just go back to their bedroom, their childhood bedroom, and they never come out. And basically parents bring them food and just support them because they feel so bad that their kid can't cope with the world. But it's kind of an epidemic, and sometimes the tension, the financial tension occurs when because they are not doing anything, not contributing to a household and spending a lot of money. So there'll be some fighting between the parents and kids, and there's been some incidents of those young guys, and most of the time they're not even young, they're 30s and 40s, injuring, domestic violence, or actually even killing their parents because of always fighting over money and things. But yeah, so situations like that is what they would be addressing. But yeah, Minister of Loneliness is my favorite, my favorite government position. But it's needed here. I mean, some sort of like rethinking of mental health and outreach to people in trouble, in distress, needs to exist here. And so it's good that they're finally addressing it. But the thing that's that's dishonest about the numbers is, I think, opioid overdoses and things in America, which probably technically aren't suicides, I think are being included in those stats. So the American suicide rate is much higher than it would be, or maybe not necessarily people that are committing suicide. They're just being very reckless with their drug use. But who knows? I mean, there's nobody to ask after it happens. There's nobody to ask about it. But that may be part of the problem, is the opioid epidemic maybe skewing those numbers a little bit. But yeah, so I'll if I ever give up my American citizenship, the first political office I will run for is the Ministry of Loneliness. I want to be the Minister of Loneliness. Yeah, that's very, very funny. But finally, some recognition of the kind of social problems in Japan. That's good. But yeah, we'll see. I think we have some cats fighting outside. How about some boxes? Can you guys hear that? Yeah, there's cats growling at each other right outside my window. It's unfortunate. We have some raccoon dogs and some wild animals that I think interact with the wild cat, or not wild cats, the stray cats in the neighborhood, and so there's a lot of injury. Like, so a lot of cats get injured, and if you get bit, if they get bit by a wild animal, that usually ends up shortening their life, because they get blood infections and stuff that then damages their kidneys, and yeah, it's very, very brutal. All right. Whew. Yeah, I don't have any big ideas. I've been watching a lot of those, just as background noise, those commercial compilations from like the 70s on YouTube. Yeah, 70s television was just the worst, but that's the soundtrack of my brain, basically, because I was so young. That's like, I know all of those jingles and have heard all those commercials, hundreds of times. So, because the TV was always on. That was a very funny thing, is the 70s was a big time where people were questioning, because when the technology was not so good, like in the 50s and 60s, people had televisions. They're kind of expensive. There's little tiny screens, and people did spend nights together watching television and stuff, but it wasn't there wasn't so much programming. The TV was like off the air as much of the time that it was on the other local channels and stuff. But that was in the 70s where they first started really questioning, how much TV should kids watch and things. So of course my mother got all into that. And the funny thing is, though, she maybe was denied or limited in her television use as a kid, so she always had the TV on. So she was trying to tell us, you shouldn't sit in front of the TV all day, you got to do something else. And but the TV was always on. So I think every room we had like one of those like weird little portable black and white televisions. So like just about every room had some little television that was on all the time, kind of like radio was a little bit before that. There was like a radio in every room, and someone would always have the radio on for background noise. So television was like that. And yeah, so I just like, my head just got filled with all that, the trashy jingles and stuff, because the commercials were relentless in in the 70s. Really bad, and a lot sexier. That's the weird thing, that from watching those compilations, like always the perfume or cologne ads have this very sexy, tone to them. And always, I wear this or nothing at all. That kind of cheesy writing. So, but I forgot, and that's like gone. Any of like innuendo or anything is totally gone from advertising. I think the 90s was the last gasp of that, because I remember like the trashy Carl's Jr. ads. It was the burger place. It's Hardee's or Carl's Jr. You probably have like one of those where you are, and in the U.S. And they had, I think it was when they first did their big hamburgers, their $5 burgers or whatever, they had this whole like bikini model, like a girl in a bikini eating this like big sloppy burger and it like dripping all over her. Like that was the last bastion of trashy advertising. Very 90s aesthetic. Extreme, but I forgot how much of that was in the 70s. All right. Yes, I'm thinking about opening a shop. Yeah, I did a flower pot cartoon for last week, so I don't know why I'm drawing that again. Yeah, I'm just trying to come up with some inspiration here. Yeah, the interesting thing about 70s television, though, is everyone's face is supernatural, is very natural. The look, like the look of beauty, is kind of except for some of the hairstyle, but natural beauty was the aesthetic, and so there's just no surgery face. Even the older people, the technology just wasn't good enough to not fuck your face up if you're going to cut your face surgically to try to make yourself look younger. So the technology just wasn't there yet. Procedures. So yeah, much more natural beauty, which is almost shocking now because we don't see anything, and even with the way you can clean images up, digitally and stuff. And now we have the whole de-aging thing for films. Like Marvel does so much of that to age match characters when they would do flashbacks and stuff. So that's pretty crazy. Oh no, that sucks. Carl's Jr. had a teriyaki burger. That's great. Yeah, I think I ate too much Carl's Jr. They would always be changing the menu, so I tried like everything everything new. So speaking of teriyaki burger, that's what today for the convenience store segment, that's what I have today is teriyaki burger flavored potato crisps. Sorry. There's kind of a famous teriyaki burger here. They're pretty tiny, but they're good. They're tasty. But you have to like mayonnaise, because for some reason, they go crazy with the mayonnaise on this teriyaki burger. I don't know why. Yeah. Well, maybe a coffee pot. Oh yeah, maybe I'll just do that. My newest passion is my percolator, my trashy percolator coffee pot. You can make weak ass American style coffee. Yeah, every type of coffee, like the French press or the different kind of drip coffees and stuff, machines and things they have here, make really strong coffee. And as I'm getting older, I just can't deal with it. So the Cafe Americano is looking better and better all the time. But so I got a percolator, and I've been drinking just kind of trashy diner coffee. But it's nice because you can have like multiple cups of it, and it's not like giving me heartburn. It's so depressing. It's so depressing. But because I used to drink a ton of coffee for during my work days, and just couldn't do it anymore. But I think it's because I was drinking it way too strong. Because a lot of the coffee here is very kind of French roast, Vietnam style or European style. Yeah, something like that. And then a pot. Yeah, so I guess we can keep this. Yeah, but it's nice because there's no filters to deal with. Yeah, paper filters and stuff, because the little can thing doesn't need any sort of filtration. All right. Oh, that's right, the Super Bowl ad. That's right, the messy hamburger ads. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was right at that time when, like, uh, I was living in Los Angeles at the time, so maybe it wasn't like this in the rest of the country, but where they were really trying to mainstream porn actresses, like Jenna Jameson and I can't think of anybody else. She was like an announcer on E, like the entertainment channel for a lot of stuff, and they're really trying to mainstream, yeah, a lot of because porn was so big with the beginning of the internet and DVD, so that felt really yeah, really bizarre. So I think that's why that aesthetic, like Maxim, like all the lad magazines, Maxim and stuff. What was the other? But there were a lot of, around that time, late 90s, there was all that lad mag stuff. So, trying to compete with Playboy and, but make it cleaner, just have it be bikini stuff. So they got all the, all that aesthetic of like 90s porn, but without the, without the porn, all the trashiness with none of the sex. But yeah, that was a very odd time. But it's a funny aesthetic about Southern California is, there's Hollywood, and then right over the hill is another place you can work that will always, take you. So if you fail as a model or an actress on one side of the hill in the San Fernando Valley, there's a whole other industry waiting for you. Let's see here. This is not the best version of this, but yeah, for a while there in the 90s, I think before all of the whoops. I don't know. Well, yeah, I don't know the chronology because I had left LA as that was dying. I left. But yeah, that was a funny time where they were trying to have crossover talent between two industries. Well, and they even had a little bit of that. Oh, come on. For Game of Thrones, I was really surprised. For a lot of the actresses that needed to do a lot of nudity, they would just hire European porn stars. So there's a little bit of crossover there. And surprisingly, they could act. Like, that was the shocking thing, is if you didn't know they were porn stars, you wouldn't have, because notoriously the acting is very bad in those movies, so I'm told. And yeah, but some of the actresses were from German and but from European porn industry. So that was a kind of that same thing happening again. I hate the weird bait and switch of what some of the HBO series do, and I think it was Sony leak that that really let the cat out of the bag about how some of those studios, like, they literally had a quota of, like, a nudity quota for some of these, like, the dramas, the cable dramas, so that there was actually a measure of how much they wanted. And then when people started complaining, especially when the actresses started to complain that it wasn't being handled well, then suddenly it just went away. But, the shows were already popular, so they got what they needed. But, yeah, that was very, very weird. Yeah, very weird thing to have exposed. Okay, I guess that kind of works. This is the wrong size, though, isn't it? that needs to go on here. Like that. Oh, chicken cali and tequila fries. Oh, man. I'm doing this earlier, so it's lunchtime right now. That's killing me. You're killing me, Joe. Hey, unknown girl. How's it going? Good to see you. Sorry about the weird day and time, but I wanted to get something in this week. Because I was, so out of it last week. All right. Yeah, there we go. We'll do some percolator jokes, I guess. There we go. Whoa, it did a lot. It did a lot of useless things here. All right, yeah, I can't do flower pots. Oh, I should do styrofoam cups. I haven't done anything like that in a while. Are those still a thing? Are those like ecologically unviable now? Do they still make styrofoam cups for coffee? All right, something like this. There we go. All right. Yeah, no Kinders in Japan. Kinders? Yeah, no. Yeah, really. If you can't bring enough for the whole chat, then you can't go, Joe. You're not allowed. I say as I eat in front of you guys every single week. Such a hypocrite. Yeah, that's funny. I'm sure there's so many because I don't pay attention. I don't live in Tokyo too, so Tokyo is maybe much more of a trial space, a testing ground, I guess is the term for new things. So I think they get a lot more. I think like the first like pop-up Krispy Kreme and stuff was in Tokyo. So I'm on the wrong side. I'm on the slower, more traditional side of the country from that. So, and smaller customer base. Come on. So you don't get as much. It has to be successful in Tokyo before it makes its way over here. That's not really a coffee can, is it? Oh well. It'll have to do. Yeah, that's right. If you didn't bring enough for the whole class, like gum, yeah, if you got caught with like chewing gum or candy or whatever, bring enough for the whole class. Yeah, but what if you did? See, that was the baller move. Is teacher asked you to bring enough for, and you just whip out one of those variety packs. And as a matter of fact, I did. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Like, and they fucked it all up because I remember my older daughter in school, they changed the rules and stuff because of, nut allergies and all kinds of stuff. But I still remember the when it's your birthday, you could bring a cake, and give everybody a piece of cake on your birthday. And sometimes the class, some teachers that I had, like they would have all the kids would like chip in money and they would get you some kind of silly, present. So every kid would chip in like 25 cents or whatever. And they would have some birthday present for the people whose birthday it was. And then they started to do that weird thing where they consolidated, and then like all the February birthdays, all the March birthdays were all, celebrated on the same day. But it used to be much more different. And so it was the decision was, were you going to bring cupcakes because those are easier to distribute, or were you going to bring a cake and then have to cut it up and have like paper plates and everything? So that was the dilemma of my age for school birthdays. It's funny because I always have happy memories of birthday parties in school, because it was always at the end of the day and whatever. But I have horrible memories of office birthday parties. Like every birthday party celebrated in an office was just the worst. It just so depressing and so, yeah, just a bunch of people that could barely tolerate each other eating cake together in a conference room. Ugh, jeez. It's brutal. Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we'd have a Christmas assembly and Santa would show up. Those were the days. They should have continued that all the way through university. uh, yeah, that's funny. Oh, I don't know what this is, but I'm drawing it very poorly. Yeah, that stuff is it's very odd, and it's just like the influence of parents, like kind of the monster parents, dominating, um, how things are done at schools and changing, you know, the it just school boards or teachers like the PTA or whatever being stronger and kind of bullying teachers. That's what, at least that's what happened in Japan. I don't remember it so as much in the U.S. But yeah, that's definitely changed things. I made school much less fun because yeah, it was just a spoiling of all the good times. Yeah, I still remember there was milk in the morning at school. So kids would get a carton of milk and drink that. And it was usually warm. It was like usually room temperature. But I can't even imagine. They can't possibly do that now because there's so much, not, dairy allergies and kids not, kids having different diets and stuff at school. I can't even imagine them trying to do that. Those days are long gone. I'm sure somewhere there's still a school milk program. All right. Oh, there we go. Like a pot, a lid, and a pot joke. So some, incompatible lid and pot. Yeah, not yet. There are like computer classes, I think, or not computer classes, but there are some classes, so some like laboratory, like language labs and stuff, where there'll be like iPads fixed to the desks. I'm not sure though, because I don't know anybody that sends their kid to like crazy expensive private school here. So there might be some of that. Yeah, there was a who was it? Who was the designer? There was some controversy. A private school in Tokyo was going to have in one of the richer neighborhoods in Tokyo was going to have, I forget who the designer was, but a pretty big, designer do the school uniforms, and it was going to be insanely expensive. But then the prestige of having I forget. I think it was like an Italian, like Italian suit designer was going to do school uniforms for this like yeah, higher level private school in one of the richer areas in Tokyo, and people were like, outraged how decadent that was. But yeah, no kind of forced iPad stuff. It's weird. In the classroom, they still seem to. Japan has a weird analog bias. Like there's still so much paperwork and stuff. Like they're really late to get to the digital contracts and digital signatures and stuff. The remote work for the pandemic has kind of forced that to happen a little bit more than before. But Japan has a weird bias of preferring analog things, so they still want kids, because there's especially like early education, the tactile, the motor skills of actually writing, and it's a very important. Penmanship here is very important because there's very intricate, delicate characters that they have to be able to write. So if you're very sloppy or very untrained with your handwriting, you can't write very well. You can't your writing is very important. So they do have a bias towards more analog things. So there's a lot of pushback against kids that just want to write all of their school papers into their smartphones with their thumbs and stuff, and try to at least get them to learn touch type on keyboard and stuff. But yeah, it's a funny thing. There is definitely a bias because there is so much tradition. Like they have the calligraphy, Japanese calligraphy, and things that are always going to be very analog. And so that bias maybe keeps iPads and stuff out of classrooms more than it would in like Europe or the US. Western countries, as they say. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, that's the only problem with the analog thing is they have so many textbooks and the little elementary school kids. So if you don't know, the kind of traditional school bag for elementary school is called a landosel. So landosel is kind of the big hard leather backpack that has a metal frame in it. So already just the bag empty is heavy as hell. And then you put all your school books in there, and it's just back-breakingly heavy. And I don't know if they do that as part of it's actually like wearing weights when you run and stuff. It's actually training the kids to be stronger. But yeah, it's I've heard people say that when they were little kids, they would come home and just like a turtle, they would just like fall on their back and they couldn't get up because their backpack was so heavy, and they had to just struggle out of the straps because they were so exhausted from carrying it. And once you laid down with it, there was no getting out of it. But yeah, that's very funny. Yeah, let's do something like this. Simple. The lid not matching was exciting. Oh. But yeah, for a while, I think some like models and stuff were, if they visited Japan, were buying those kids' backpacks and wearing them because they're really tiny. Like they're made for little tiny kids. So on an adult, they're like a little small backpack, but they're real heavy duty. They're very like high quality. They cost like about $500, but you use them for like 6 years every day. But they have a kind of aesthetic, like a very Japanese. So you may have seen them in anime or manga. Very Japanese aesthetic in their design and everything. But and there's cheaper ones you can get, like the ones that aren't officially from a school are available at like the department stores and stuff. So you can get like in different colors and styles and stuff. But they're not actually that useful, like as a purse or not using them for a book bag is not actually that useful. They're not all that functional. So I think it was just the exotic gimmick of it that would make people buy them that weren't students in Japan. Maybe a little bit lighter. Get shinier. There we go. Yeah, let me find a picture of that so you guys know what I'm talking about. What is he talking about? Bum bum bum. What's a good? Let's see if any a good picture of it. Okay, so here is the back of one. So they have this, like, these heavy leather straps and the padding. And oh, here we go. And here is the front. Yeah, so this one's got some pink trim on it. Usually they're kind of monotone. But yeah, this is the backpack that every Japanese school kid carries. And it's really thick, you know, heavy stitched leather. So it barely wears. Like, they use it for 6 years and beat the hell out of it, and they, you know, they look fine after that because they're really well made, which is a shame because then what do you do with it? It's like a small piece of furniture. But they come in a bunch of different colors, and they make, you know, kind of a natural leather looking one and stuff. But yeah, every little kid you see walking around, and so if they're like first grade or second grade, these things are gigantic on their backs. They're, you know, crazy burdened by this thing, and you can put enough books in it that it's, you know, it's heavy. I wonder how heavy how heavy they can get if you fill it full of books. But it's pretty brutal for a little kid. It's a little much, but yeah, it's very Japanese culture. Yeah, but if they do ever go into, you know, supporting the, you know, digital textbooks and stuff, that will disappear completely. All right, let's do like a red or blue. Yeah, red, something warmer. Red coffee can. But yeah, so that's the aesthetic here. Oops. Yeah, which is funny. So it's like every kid has that shared experience of using that backpack. And they all probably still have them. I guess, though, if you have like younger siblings and your age difference is enough, you know, as you're leaving school. Well, no, it'd have to be 6 years difference. Probably rarely happens. But cousins and stuff, you can pass it on to your cousins and stuff because they wear really well. So if the school doesn't have an official one, you have to buy. So some schools, you know, they have an official uniform, official Landau backpack that you have to buy if you are a student at that school. So it's kind of this forced expense, and sometimes it's like, you know, almost like $1,000 of extra expense that you have to deal with just to go to the school, because you can't not have it. You know, you can't skip it and just do your own thing. That's something they're not too cool on or keen on in Japan. I'll just do my own thing. Yeah, so, you know, even public schools have uniforms here, so everyone is very used to the school uniform idea, which is only, you know, private schools and Catholic schools in the U.S. And maybe more, you know, England and Australia are more used to that. That being the standard. All right. So something about they were bound, you know, they were committed to making the world's most mediocre coffee. Something about like making very mediocre coffee, but it's their purpose, their quest. I should put some coffee in the can. A little bit later. There we go. Yeah, right. Unknown Girl. Saw the crazy kids. So it's interesting because then clothes become an issue. Like in America, all the schools, none of the schools I went to had uniforms, So kids could get sent home from wearing like T-shirts with like trashy, slogans or something too suggestive or sexy on the. Kids could get sent home for wearing stuff, and they're like like metal shirts. Like there were a bunch of like bloody kind of shirts for metal bands and stuff. So a lot of kids would get sent home, or their parents would be called to bring them another shirt. That's a very American style thing. Uh, yeah, that's funny. But it does, I think that's why American schools too can have much more annoying cliques, and because you can have a costume, you can dress goth at school, you can, dress preppy, you can show off your family's money or whatever with how you dress, and when you have a uniform, that's not ever an issue, but so that creates some of like the social tension and stuff in American schools. Is not having a uniform lets people separate themselves by their costuming. I should put a little bit of here. All right. I think this looks like what it's supposed to look like. Not incredibly convincing, but maybe some white. Hey, Lil Will, how's it going? Mm-mm. Yeah. I think it definitely stops bullying, and that's a big problem that they have in Japan. So maybe that was a big reason for choosing the. And they also kind of followed England. I think a lot of choices in government and things that Japan made were just because they liked the British style. It matched, a little bit better. But yeah, the bullying is a huge problem. So yeah, kids being teased for not dressing expensively or whatever could be a huge problem here. So yeah, that may be a big part of it. Yeah. Yeah, my ex went to a private, like I think it was a Catholic school, like an all girls school, so she had a uniform all through high school. But I never saw her, like, it was an all girls school, so I didn't go there, and so I only saw her outside of school. So never, only like yearbooks and stuff did I see her in that context. All right. Let's see here. I think I have to put the eyes here. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I don't think. I think that's enough. All right. Yeah. So I'm getting my love for percolator coffee. I'm outing myself with my love for percolator coffee. I just recently started making, because I was doing like the coffee makers or the drip coffee or French press or whatever, and just can't drink much of it because it's really strong. It's delicious, but it's really strong. So I've opted for the. I've gone back to my roots. So the weak American coffee with a percolator is become my my usual thing. And I'm trying to drink more coffee instead of like Red Bull and stuff. I don't need all that sugar. I was drinking way too much of that to do to do live streams and stuff. So I'm switching to a lot of weak coffee, and we'll see how that goes. So there's my percolator revealed. Yeah, it's funny, but yeah, I really quickly couldn't drink more than a couple. I used to drink pots of coffee while I was working when I was younger, and that just like stopped. I couldn't do that anymore, so I just had to switch to the senior citizen blend. It's depressing. But that's funny. I never knew that. I never knew about the American coffee. The cafe americano was just coffee, good coffee plus hot water. So Americans like notoriously drank weak coffee. I never knew that until I was a homestay student and had like Swedish coffee and like, whoa, okay, that's coffee. That's pretty intense. And we would drink it right before bed. That was the funny part of it. Is my host mother would make this tray with some sweets or something and black Swedish coffee every night before bed, and it didn't bother me at all when I was younger. If I did that now, I would sleep probably about 30 seconds a night. But wooden handle and maybe black. But yeah, that was a very different aesthetic and some kind of orangey color. And then I'll do this. But yeah, that's a funny aging thing. All of these, I'm enjoying all of these fun parts of aging, and I'm doing it publicly. That's what makes it more depressing. I should just be secretly talking about this just to myself. All right. I should make it maybe a different color metal so that they don't match at all. So it looks very incompatible. All right. Something like that. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, something like that. So the lid not matching made it even more. Oh, let me color the pot as well. Do some weird, what's an ugly kind of 70s color, like a olivey green. Oops. Yeah, not do all this metal. Do some kind of, or maybe just blue would be better. But yeah, it's funny. That would be like if you could explain to your younger self like what is going to happen like through the course of your life, and just explain the aging process. That would be like it probably has been a horror movie, but that sounds like a horror film. I don't think when you're feeling young and invincible you could even accept that as a possibility. But I guess there's all the health information and things you ignore anyhow when you're younger. But if you really could like see yourself, this is what you will look like in 30 years, it would be terrifying. That's not possible. Maybe do the oops, this. And it's interesting because there isn't a good kind of you just have your grandparents or whatever complaining, or your older parents complaining about their health, and it just becomes this like weird topic of conversation that they always seem to be obsessing with. But it would be nice if there was a better culture of just kind of preparing people for what's going to happen. Like basically you start going into the doctor with aches and pains or whatever, and ask them what's wrong, and the diagnosis is you're getting old. That's it. That's all I can tell you, and we're not going to do anything about it, because before it becomes life threatening, you'll be dead from just old age. Something else will kill you before this kills you, so just don't worry about it. Yeah, that old joke. You go to the doctor. I went to the doctor and I said it hurts. It hurts when I do this, and the doctor says, "Don't do that. You'll be fine." So that's that's where you end up. But yeah, I'm surprised that because just from my parents aging, they don't talk about anything, and what's happening to them is probably what I can expect happening to me, and yeah, they just don't share that at all, which is strange. That might be an American aesthetic to the private, medical information being very private and things. But I think it would help, things feel normal, or you just understand what the normal part of the process was. But along with that's the frustrating part, I think, where I'm at in life, is I have no idea. Is it the vaccine? Is it the sedentary working from home all the time? Or is it just getting old? Why is this happening? Yeah, very, very weird. Okay, this is a smiling one. It's got to be, because I'm going to make it kind of weird. So I got to do a good smile here. All right, there we go. Maybe both. All right. Yeah, it's not tequila fries. Nice. Damn. Tequila fries. Okay, so I think we're good. Let's take a look at what happened off camera last week. Oh, sorry, I'm not paying attention to my levels very well. Let me know if the audio is low. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I think it's okay. I'm not putting the microphone like right in my face, but then you don't hear me breathing all the time. I noticed when I was doing that live stream, the unboxing live stream, I had the microphone too close, and it was very. It was when I wasn't talking. It sounded horrible, so I got to find a good mic placement for this situation. All right, where are we? So let's take a look at comments. All right, where is the God damn, there we go. Nice. Bundaberg. Oh, wow. Australian root beer. That's cool. All right. Okay, so here we go for last week. I guess I'll move this over here. Oh. Oh, that's interesting. It scales the window. Weird. Yeah, I gotta rework my my window placement here. I should come up with like maybe some graphics and a border and like make everything a little smaller. I don't think I need to be so zoomed in. All right, so this Tuesday, last Tuesday, January 25th, was this exciting cartoon. So part of this nutritious breakfast, data usage fees may apply. So not 2 sentences, which I almost never do. Oh, sorry. There we go. But a little bit of feedback. Let's see. Clever. Everyone reads the back of the cereal box while eating it. Drink more Ovaltine. Nice. A QR code for your website. Oh, yeah, that's right. See, I did that. I was going to put just a generic QR code on there or do something funny, but yeah, I just made it for the abuse cartoons. I didn't know if it was going to work because I was skewing it off, to fit on the box. But yeah, that's the abuse cartoons. QR code. This is one of those times I think I'm the only person without a cell or smartphone. Poor Ed. 3rd time I use that feature. Nice. All right. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's so funny. I didn't expect people to be so drawn to try to use this. But yeah, just placing a QR code in a comic, like everyone got their smartphone out and tried to take a photo of it. That's so funny. Yes. My glorious, very old website. All right. Well, let's take a look at one before that. So the 20th was, the spork, the spork joke. Now they only needed to think of a name. Oh, yeah, they got a little bit of attention. So, how sporks are made. All right, so let's see how many people say spork. I'm not taking the vape. Besides, the kid is too young for pot. Nice, Ed. Runsable spoon. Nice. Foon. Nice. Spork, of course. Isn't Spork the name of that pointy-haired guy on Star Trek? That's Spock. Oh, they're being very literal. I like Runcible. Runcible spoon. Very nice. Yeah, that just came out of nowhere. I drew a flower pot, and I was like, I don't have any flower jokes, so I put a spork in the pot, and then it became the origin of the spork. Yeah, the tone of this, for some reason, it feels a little more like Far Side than my writing usually is. It's very kind of silly pop culture. Oh yeah, Unknown Girl. I didn't do a stream last week. I was just like hanging over the tablet doing these. So these weren't created on stream. So sorry, there was no live stream last week. I was out of it. I was swollen and numb and maybe a little spacey from extreme amounts of aspirin, whatever the painkillers are here. Nice. All right, let's go back another. Yeah, so sorry to keep that from you guys, but yeah, I was just in no condition to do any streaming. All right, here's a nice long one. So it didn't have to be a choice between eating and looking good, but it usually was. All right. Oh yeah, I forget. I gotta like the ones I've already looked at. I tried, but 9 out of 10, I would forget my lunchbox at work. A lunch bag or cosmetics kit? Lunch, please. All right. And 13th. Oranges. The oranges were horrified by the idea of juicing. Don't try it, kids. Once you are juiced, you're never coming back. Oh, Podog was gone for a while, or maybe just like not commenting for a while. Rightfully so. But to some, it had a certain appeal. Ed with the puns. Nice. All right, and I think that's it. I think everything else we've seen. The 11th. Oh yeah. Salty seasonings would come and go, but sugar was forever. Yeah, that's on the lips, forever on the hips. All right. That's an old dieting thing, isn't it? Sadly, said the diabetic, I am. Oof. All right. Okay, we'll do a couple of randoms. Yeah, I'm doing better. It was after the worst of it. It seemed to eliminate all the pain I was having. I had no idea because it was one of those things where I had a really bad infection and went to the dentist and they said, "Yes, you have a serious problem, but we can't do anything until the infection is gone." So I just was on antibiotics for a week. And of course, the antibiotics make you swell all crazy because your body starts fighting whatever's going on. So that's why I skipped last week, because I had a big face. And then last week I had the first part of the procedure, and it seemed to take the pressure and everything off, and things were going much better. But yeah, sorry to suddenly be out of it. I was updating. I kind of gave you some notifications on Twitter what was going on, but I can't do anything on YouTube yet, so someday I'll be able to do posts on YouTube to kind of update everybody. All right, so learning to be a pickle was just forgetting how to be a cucumber. Ooh, that's very zen. Learning to be a pickle was just forgetting how to be a cucumber. Dang, excuse me while I get a pickle. While I go get a pickle. All right. Oh, there's a lot of. Oh, I thought there was only one comment. There's a lot. Please remain a cucumber. I won't bother you. Either way, then. A piccolo has just forgotten how to be a flute. Oh, there we go. The right spices can make you anything you wish to become. Nice. 10 years ago. That's weird. So this is 2012. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, things were kind of up and running after 2010. The beginning. Oh, look at this. Yeah, that's an oldie. A marker oldie. The potpourri room spray constantly tortured the bayberry candle with what he referred to as the inferno. All right. 17. Showering together. Should not have felt this messy and weird. All right. The green bottle's soul seems to have left its body. Oh, I already liked this one before. Nice. Oh yeah, the eyes, the eyes through the green soap. All right. And 2015, yeah, I wasn't streaming yet. Christmas. It looked like it was down to him to make this the best or worst Christmas ever. The last present. I still have trouble drawing ribbons on top of packages or bows. All right. Yes, it's my version of time travel. Hey, Sedona's back. Yeah, my version of time. I wonder if they get notification. That would be really funny if they get a notification. You know, like, what? Why is this getting liked 10 years later? Ooh, Halloween. The presence of candy corn just made the whole group feel that much more Halloween candy. The festive candy corn. You haven't met the robber mice of Breaking Cat News? What? What is that? All right. One more. Hopefully not a holiday one. November 17th, there we go. He wasn't enough of an exhibitionist to feel comfortable in a windowed box. That's that Entenmann's cake box that I keep drawing. All right. Yeah, so that's a little catch up from last week. So yeah, sorry I wasn't I wasn't online. It was brutal. Hey Yum, how's it going? All right, back on an unusual day to do some live streaming. Oh, I gotta pay attention to the time. Oh, good, we're still good. Wow, yeah, things went faster than I thought. I was worried I wasn't going to be able to get everything in. But now, back to the painful writing portion of the live stream. All right. Okay, so the idea for this was just disrespecting, percolator coffee. So, something about their purpose. So the world's most mediocre coffee. So weakest and most mediocre coffee. Something about they were brought together, or they, as a group, their group purpose. Nice. Sauna phone. Yeah, they need to make more sauna friendly phones. Nice. All right. Yeah, that's heat. Smartphones are such victims of that, because that little sandwich of components is just cooking all the time. So yeah, any additional heat is not going to help. All right. So their purpose. where they, I was something about, kind of, grand in scale. Their purpose is a very small, useless thing that they're doing. Oh, am I still? Oh, there we go. And it's just to make very weak, mediocre coffee. Maybe weakest. Oh, this is getting long though. Most mediocre coffee. So they were now their purpose, their mission in life. Oh, perking up. Oh, nice. Yeah, perking up the mornings. Right, a percolator. Percolator. Yeah, my grandmother on my father's side used to make coffee in a saucepan. She would just put water and throw coffee grounds into a saucepan and just boil the pan, and then just pour it through a filter, like pour it through a sieve, I think, to make coffee. Because my father would say he remembered as a little kid, he drank coffee from like 5 years old because it was like the only hot drink that his mother would make for him. Like she wouldn't make hot chocolate or warm milk or anything. She would just make hot black coffee. So from like his youngest school age, he would just drink black coffee in the morning. And she would make it in a saucepan. She would just throw coffee and water in a saucepan and boil it, and then filter it out. Run it through something, a sieve or something. And so my father said his earliest memory was like on his toes, like peeking into the saucepan on the stove, boiling the morning coffee. That's a bleak, that's a really bleak image for a 5-year-old. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, more mediocre coffee. Nice. Perk is good. Oh yeah, something about like perking up. They their job was to perk up the morning with the world's weakest. Oh yeah, it doesn't have to be the world's. I guess that's I can bring the scale of it down a little bit. With they perked up mornings with the weakest, most mediocre coffee. That doesn't have a very good rhythm. So they tried to perk up. Most mediocre is not very, doesn't sound very good. The weakest, disappointing coffee. Something about, something. So something about a strong purpose, big intentions and weak results. The weak disappointing coffee. The coffee, yeah. No way. Busted old people for doing lines of instant coffee. Yikes. I can't imagine. Ugh. Yeah, especially some of that powdered coffee. Yeah. That would be in your nose forever. Plus it would stain. Wouldn't it stain your nose? Ugh. All right. They attempted... Yeah, so maybe they attempted to perk up the morning, or their something attempt, missed attempt, false attempt. Their weak attempt. Weak attempt. Incredibly disappointing coffee. Yeah, so the attempted, their weak attempt to perk up the morning resulted in disappointing coffee. I like disappointing coffee. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of pushback in the comments about the nice things about the benefits or good things about percolator coffee. They attempted. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, setting the day's expectation. That's nice. That's crazy. So okay, their attempt to perk up the morning resulted in only there's an only in there somewhere, right? Their attempt to perk up the morning merely resulted in. Merely sounds weird. Their attempt to perk up the morning resulted in a weak disappointing coffee. How about a large quantity? That's a pretty big pot, right? Of weak disappointing coffee. I don't know. Best intentions, right? Their attempt to perk up the morning resulted in a large quantity of weak, disappointing coffee. Something like that. Their best intentions? Hey, Grinds, how's it going? Thanks for stopping by. Are you in YouTube? I gotta pay attention to if anything is going on Twitch. I don't know what's going on. What's happening? Twitch's web design is pretty crap. All right, I didn't say that. Yeah, weird. I don't see the chat anywhere. Oh, because I've got this all blown out. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I'm on a weird time and day, so that may help find people that I usually didn't find. All right. So their attempt to perk up the morning resulted in a large quantity of weak, disappointing coffee. Something like that. Okay, let's go on to the erotic saucepan cartoon. This is me watching too many 70s TV commercials. Fact that the lid didn't fit made things more exciting. Or maybe not his lid. It wasn't his lid. The fact that it wasn't his lid, not fit. His lid. The wrong lid. But I don't want it to be, wrong. Yeah, if it's the wrong lid, then I can say something stupid like naughty. The fact that it was the wrong lid made I don't know. This is gonna go horribly on GoComics.com. Oh, Saucy. Yeah, right. Yeah, Saucy is good. Made it feel that much more no, saucier. That's not good. feel a little saucy. That doesn't make any sense. All right. Oh, nice. Yeah, good to see you. Thanks for watching the stream, Grinds. This is a... I missed a week, so this is I'm a little rusty getting back to it here. So, the facts. The fact that it was the wrong lid made it feel a little saucy. Yeah, that's... Or using the wrong lid? Oh my gosh. I can't believe that coffee that coffee story. All right. Maybe using the wrong lid? Made things feel a little saucy. I don't know. I thought this was a solid idea for a joke, but I don't think it is. More coffee. All right. Yeah, we'll get to talk Japanese fast food in the convenience store segment. Yeah, because the fast food company actually did a snack. Oh, it stays warm too. That's great. All right. So using the wrong lid made things feel a little saucy. Change the other one with the coffee. With the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. Yeah. Exactly, Joe. I think that's even the color. The color of the can is is Folgers the red one? I forget. Like, I think maybe Maxwell House is blue and Folgers is red. Yeah, that's definitely a 70s coffee commercial. Same with Taster's Choice. I was always so disturbed. Let me see if I can... I think they've modified it since then. But the original label for the Taster's Choice coffee... Yeah, there it is. Used to freak me out when I was a kid. It's kind of creepy looking. They've updated it since. Like, they've put the face is a little... Let me see if I find a decent sized one. Yeah, it's not very big. Yeah, they've changed it since, but the one I remember growing up was... Because I think my mother didn't drink it a lot, but there was always this weird jar of this Taster's Choice. Yeah, it's just super small, so it might not read very well. But this face, for some reason, when I was a kid, always freaked me out. As a very creepy face. So there's always this, and I think it was decaf. I think it was like the green one. So there was always decaf around on the table somewhere, and I didn't, know anything about coffee or anything, but this creepy guy's face was always the most disturbing. They've made it look more normal, and they've changed, the photo a few times. But this was the photo I remember my whole childhood. That freaky guy's dark eye, just like shadowed eyes looking down into this like cup of coffee. Yeah, that's just me. I'm sharing my my personal neuroses with everybody, but yeah, it's a very weird image that like just had some long-lasting effect. Yes. Yeah, Taster's Choice. And I love the font too. Like, look at that like weird 60s sci-fi font for their logo. Yeah. Yeah, they still make this stuff. That's crazy. But yeah, I hate that. I hate that face. I don't know what it was. All right. I'm just trying to let out all my childhood trauma. So using the wrong lid made things feel a little saucy. Oh, sure. That's as close as it's gonna get. I thought it was a funnier joke when I was drawing it. Oh, maybe I should do one more line here to make this look a little, more transparent. But yeah, I think that'll work. Using the wrong lid made things feel a little saucy, I guess. We'll see how that response goes. Their attempt to perk up the morning resulted in a large quantity of weak, disappointing coffee. That's one of my less funny, wordier ones, isn't it? They attempted to perk up the morning with a large quantity of weak, disappointing coffee. It's good. Thanks, yeah. Yes. Leering at coffee. Yeah, that's some guy, some model, like, sat for, because that's, back in the days of minimal photo editing, so just that creepy guy. Yeah, a lot of the photography, like the portraits and like home photography of the 70s was really bizarre. They did such strange things, like the portrait studios, the photo portrait studios would have those pictures where it's like someone looking like a portrait of someone, like from his shoulders up, and then like a full body picture of them like sitting down, like in profile, like up floating in the in the corner of the photo. So bizarre. 2 in 1. You get 2 photos for the price of 1. So horrible. All right. Their attempt to perk up the morning. Is there a quicker way to say that? They would not. I guess we'll stick with the disappointing coffee. Weak, disappointing coffee. Using the wrong lid made things feel a little saucy. Okay, I think that does it. I think that's as close as we'll get. Alright, using the wrong lid made things feel a little saucy. I can't wait to see what the what the comments turn out to be. Sorry, let me just stick this in the folder. Oh, all right. I guess not. Weird. Oh, coffee. Yes, Grinds. What's your coffee idea? Anything's better than that essay that I wrote for coffee. Wow, this is for February 1st. Wow. All right. Made you even more tired. That's good. That's good. Yeah, they all do look exhausted. Yeah, right. Yeah, something about having the opposite effect. Yeah, if it literally said like percolator coffee, the weakness, the lack of flavor and weakness of percolator coffee had the opposite of the intended effect. As I'm still writing an essay. That's good. Yeah, I like coffee making you tired. Yeah, the whole coffee making process was exhausting, or the results made you feel weaker and more exhausted. Yeah, I like that. I like that opposite. Yeah, it took more energy to make than it gave. Time to perk up the morning. So perk is a good reference to make that because of the percolator. It's a good pun. Results in a large quantity of weak, disappointing coffee. They had minimal effect in the morning, or the opposite. I like the opposite of the intended effect. Their weak, flavorless coffee had yeah. Their attempt to perk up the morning resulted in a large quantity. Yeah, perk is good. Yeah, I think that was a standard in old coffee commercials too. Oh, I love the I think it was a radio commercial originally, but Senka, I think, or one of the very first instant decaf coffees. Their whole marketing was that caffeine made you irritable and like easy to like burst into these rages of anger. So there are these radio commercials. I think it's for Senka. That the guy like his neighbor is doing something annoying, and this guy's about to freak out and attack the neighbor for like mowing his lawn at the wrong time or doing something, and the wife is like, "Oh, you should, your nerves are your I forget what the expression they use, but something about your nerves." And having decaf will, relax you and make you less irritable and less quick to anger. So the whole commercials were about like these guys like just about to freak out and like injure somebody because they've had too much coffee. And Senko was the answer to that problem. Jangly nerves or something. There was like some weird expression that they used. But yeah, it was very funny. That once coffee became very standard, then there's some people that were maybe sensitive and got very irritated by drinking coffee. So decaf was going to be the antidote for their coffee rage. They tend to perk up the morning. Yeah, there's not a good way to. There's nothing that can cut out of that. Large quantity so in a large pot of yeah, I can't think. Yeah, Reefer Madness. Yeah, that basically was the same kind of like exploitational yeah, exaggeration of the effects of something, in this case caffeine. Yeah, I don't think it was ever a TV commercial. I think it was a radio commercial, but that was just insane. Like the like murderous aspect of it was very bizarre. But that was always the they did that a lot. Like the husband coming home from work exhausted, and a bunch of stuff happening as soon as he comes in the door, and he's just like yelling and freaking out, and he needs to take aspirin, or there's something that will fix this, but he's immediately assaulted with all this like stuff he has to do once he's home, and he just starts freaking out. But they use that gimmick a lot in old commercials. That's I guess, was it really that common? The cure for domestic violence: decaffeinated coffee. Right. Their attempt to perk up the morning results. Yeah, weak is a pun with weak would be good too. Weak coffee making somebody weaker. I think I've already got too much of an essay. All right. Well, we'll go with this. I'll spell check it. I can't see it going better. Their attempt to perk up the morning resulted in a large quantity of disappointing coffee. All right. Percolator joke. least I got some inspiration there. I was worried. Hey, hello? Hello? There we go. I was worried I would have nothing. So I didn't feel very inspired today. All right, no, and we'll just open this back up. There we go. All right. So now is the time no one's been waiting for. Now this will be fun. MOS Burger is. I should have looked at the date. Let me do that real quick. I think it was the 70s, because I think it was like when McDonald's first invaded Japan. This was their response. This was kind of the Japanese response to it. Let me see if that's true. Yeah. That's exactly what happened. All right. So just a second. Let me upload some of these files so I don't forget. Yeah, that's my favorite thing to do, is work on these on stream and then not upload them. So I missed the deadline anyhow. The whole point of doing these on stream. Self-defeating. All right. Yeah, so today and next Tuesday. Yeah, so if you're new to the stream, or it's been a while, every Tuesday and Thursday, U.S. time, the strips go on gocomics.com. So if you want to see the strips and react to them, or at least watch the the funny responses, that's where to do it. All right, so let's switch over. I guess, yeah, this is a convenience store thing, so we'll do this. Oh. All right, yeah, the microphone is here. Uh-oh. You'll have to remain filthy, unknown girl. There's no choice. Yeah, so this was surprising. So this logo here. So MOS Burger, it looks like the an inverted, doesn't it look like the 70s Warner Brothers logo? Do you remember that big W that Warner Brothers used in the 70s? So it looks like they just inverted that logo to make an M, but MOS Burger, so M-O-S, MOS Burger. And this was Japan's kind of domestic reaction to the success of McDonald's in the 70s. So this burger chain was founded in 72 in Japan, and the name, it's capital M-O-S. I don't know if you can't see that, can you? Yeah, it's uppercase M-O-S Burger. So MOS Burger, what does that even mean? So they were going, because it's the 70s, so they're going for this, like, outdoor active nature thing, like a lot of 70s branding did. So the name of the in English the name of the burger shop stands for Mountain Ocean Sky. And in some of the older like interior decorations in some of the shops, if they haven't been renovated, they'll have some display that says like Mountain Ocean Sky or whatever. Or not sky, is it sea? Sorry. Oh, sun. Mountain Ocean Sun. Sorry. So it's unhealthy fried food, but you should be active out with the mountains and the ocean and the sun. So I guess it involves what 3 alchemical elements or whatever. So I was really happy to see these though, because the most famous burger that they have their MOS Burger, the original burger, which kind of has a it's not chili, but it's like a tomato sauce that is, if you took the beans and the ground beef out of chili, that's what their sauce is. So they have a cheeseburger or a hamburger that has like this tomato sauce on it. That's their MOS Burger, their original burger. And then this is their other most famous burger, the teriyaki burger. So Joe, it is a teriyaki. It is a classic teriyaki burger, but as you can see, so it's a burger kind of dipped in teriyaki sauce, which is usually like a soy sauce. What is a teriyaki? Is just like it's like a soy sauce and something based flavor. But they put lettuce on it and then a huge blob of mayonnaise for some reason. So if you don't like mayonnaise, these burgers are hard to get through. But they made a potato snack. So they do have fries there, and their fries kind of look like that. But they did this potato snack that looks like, or tastes like their teriyaki burger. So, MOS Teriyaki Potato. Yeah, MOS Burger Potato. So they only had the one flavor. So I'm wondering if they're going to do their classic MOS Burger flavor with like a tomato cheese flavor or whatever. So this should be teriyaki. Hopefully not mayonnaise. But it should be teriyaki. And yeah, I hadn't seen these before. I hadn't seen a fast food themed snack at the convenience store. So I thought it'd be fun to talk about MOS. Huh. Oh, it's mayonnaise. There's mayonnaise. Yeah. They're doing the teriyaki and mayonnaise flavor. I could smell the simulated mayo. Oh yeah. So it tastes like teriyaki sauce and and mayonnaise too. That especially the second taste is very mayonnaise. Wow. So it's teriyaki sauce and mayonnaise flavor, potato. Yeah, and mayonnaise is very popular here for French fries. Kind of like in Belgium or like Northern Europe. Yeah. Very mayonnaise flavor at the end there, like the sweet kind of eggy mayonnaise. The interesting thing about Japanese mayonnaise is they use much more egg yolk and soy sauce and vinegar, Japanese like rice vinegar to flavor it. So it's got a different taste from like traditional American mayonnaise because the ingredients are different, and it's much more yellow because they use more egg yolk. And also the eggs here, the yolks of the eggs in Japan are very orange. They're not so bright yellow. Yeah, a very mediocre like potato snack. The potatoes themselves are okay, but the flavoring is very, that very Japanese MOS burger style, the teriyaki burger style. So it's pretty sweet. The teriyaki sauce is pretty sweet, and then there's a very eggy mayonnaise flavor. Yeah, they do. They look very much like a French fry, and they're keying out. Yeah, but they're they taste like that that kind of potato where they like Pringles or whatever, where they kind of grind a potato into powder and then reconstitute it to make a shape because they're very powdery inside. But the flavor is okay. It is a pretty good simulation of how their teriyaki burger tastes. Teriyaki sauce and huge amounts of mayonnaise. I mean, literally, that is how much mayonnaise. It's a huge blob of mayonnaise. So sometimes you bite it and you just get a face full of mayonnaise. But the thing about MOS is nothing is frozen. Everything is very fresh. It takes a long time. It's not fast at all. So McDonald's is still, because a lot of stuff is pre-cooked. Even McDonald's here is very instant. Like, they give you the food almost right away. You almost wait for nothing. But MOS Burger, you can wait a long time. Like, it's not unusual. 10-15 minutes is not an unusual wait. So usually they have a dining area and they give you a number and then you go sit down and wait. But it's not really fast food. It's pretty slow, but everything is freshly made, so it's all very hot when you get it. Very, very hot and very good, very fresh tasting. But the burgers are only about that big, so kind of like a kid's, like a junior cheeseburger or something, like a tiny. The burgers are pretty small, so the burger patties. So when I first came to Japan and would go to MOS Burger, I would get like 2 or 3 burgers every time because they were so tiny. And fortunately, I'm much less gluttonous now, so 1 burger is okay. But everything is very fresh and served very hot and fresh. But you sacrifice the speed, so you wait for a while for just about everything. But yeah. I think these are good. If they have if they have another flavor, I definitely would try those. If they do their like tomato burger flavor, I would definitely try those. The potatoes are very, the snack itself is very mediocre, but the flavor is fun because it's a pretty good simulation of biting into one of their teriyaki burgers. Yeah, but the patties are pretty thin and the burgers are pretty small. Some of the other domestic Japanese burger places make larger burgers, and one of them, because Wendy's has come to Japan and then left, and come to Japan and left like twice, I think, in recent history. And now Wendy's is collaborating with a domestic Japanese burger place called First Kitchen. So First Kitchen, like cross, like collaboration with Wendy's. So they do like the square Wendy's burgers and the chili. But then everything else is kind of First Kitchen style. No Frosties, and the fries are different and everything. But the cool thing about First Kitchen is they serve whiskey sodas and beer, draft beer. So the two big movie theaters in Osaka, there is a First Kitchen right next door, so you can get a big and they serve like the highball, what they call a highball in Japan. So it's a big glass of whiskey soda on ice, and I think it's Jim Beam or something kind of cheap, but it's very cheap. Yeah, it's a very cheap way to get a drink before going to a movie. But that's the only way that Wendy's now exists in Japan. So it used to be you could get, and it was very standard Wendy's style, but yeah, it just kept going out of business. And the same thing with Burger King. Burger King keeps trying. They're here again, and kind of in the busier areas they're kind of established, but they've shut down many. They had a lot more, and they shut down many of the restaurants, so they can't survive. Only McDonald's, yeah, kind of endures as far as the foreign fast food. So KFC and McDonald's are very entrenched in Japan, and so then MOS Burger is the big competitor, and they compete by kind of doing the opposite of McDonald's. They have a lot of very Japanese flavors, and they every month they have like a new burger, and it's very more tuned to kind of Japanese aesthetics. So always the or Japanese taste, it's not aesthetics, but always the base of if McDonald's does a different kind of burger, they have like a samurai mac or something, so it has a kind of a Japanese sauce on it, but it's still that same base. The components are still McDonald's, parts with like a different sauce on them. But MOS Burger will do a lot of different experimentation, like a cream croquette kind of patty, or the standard kind of the shrimp, the fried shrimp or whatever. So they'll do a lot of different types of flavors that are more like, converted, like foreign taste converted to kind of Japanese aesthetic in a burger, if that makes any sense. And they also do they have a burger that is not, it's not bread. It's not a wheat-based bun. It's a pressed rice. It's pressed cooked rice. So you have to eat it like, in the paper or the wrapper, because it's not easy to hold. But it's basically like they took some cooked rice and kind of press it into a side of a like a disc, that you can put something in between, so you can get the burgers between pressed rice if you don't want to eat wheat. If you have a wheat allergy or something. So yeah, that's another weird kind of Japanese thing that they do. But yes, they have. Oh yeah, they've done some really cool nuggets in different flavors of McNuggets in McDonald's, Japanese McDonald's. Right now they have a black pepper McNugget that has some like special sauces, but the one time they did a spicy nugget, the sauces for them were like these Szechuan sauces, not the Rick and Morty Szechuan sauce, but these Szechuan spicy sauces. One was a really spicy kind of mabo tofu dish. It's a black spice sauce for it. So it's a spicy nugget in this black sauce, like this black pepper sauce. So good. And the other one was a burnt garlic. It was roasted garlic sauce for a spicy nugget. Those were crazy good. Those are really, really good flavors. But that's all McDonald's kind of does, is they just change sauces around and flavorings. So yeah, but both of the new kind of experimental flavors that they tried were pretty amazing. I haven't had the new black pepper one yet. So I don't know what else they offer, but yeah, but Szechuan sauce is the Mulan Szechuan sauce is just Chinese plum sauce. So you can buy that anywhere in Japan, and probably in any Asian supermarket will have plum sauce. That's all that is. So it's not anything that exciting. So if you want your nuggets dipped in the infamous Szechuan sauce, it's just plum sauce. Mm, yeah, yeah. The For some reason, yeah, they get very. I think maybe because nuggets aren't so popular here because they're very processed, and so people are kind of they don't buy maybe as many nuggets as they do in the U.S. It's not so part of the culture. Oh, sorry. There's my tablet. Oh yeah, if you guys want to see, I can give you a. Oh, let me see. I think it comes all the way around. Yeah. So this is what I used to draw on at the office. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I moved the microphone. This is what I used to draw on at the office in Osaka that you would see me on. I had my camera on top of this before, so I finally moved this back, and so I have my giant tablet on a big arm. So finally, and that's why the drawing style changed a little bit and everything. This tablet has much more sensitivity and everything. But it's nice because it's on an arm that I can push off of the table, so my tabletop is completely clear. I don't have a monitor or a base or anything here. So everything that I have basically can just move off of the table. So it's very nice. It makes it a lot easier. And it's like a 12-year-old Cintiq, the Wacom Cintiq. But I like it. It's very comfortable using it, and it's so much nicer than any of the smaller USB tablets. It's crazy. I mean, it's a big piece of furniture, but it's really nice. All right, so there's a little sneak peek. Where are we here? There we go. But yeah. So that was the exciting MOS Burger story. Yeah, I should just have a Japanese fast food live stream where all I do is eat and talk about Japanese fast food. All right. Yeah, so now I can do much better illustration and stuff now at home because I brought the big monitor home, and it was a shame because I was when the lockdown and everything started, I couldn't go into the office, and I was doing everything from home. And this was just sitting and freezing and melting in the in the weather, sitting in that office building. So yeah, I brought it back, and now I've actually got some work. I'll show you guys once I finish it up and it gets released. I'll show you guys a project I'm working on for a game thing. So some character illustrations for a game. I'll show you those once those are closer to being published. But yeah, it's nice to have that back. Yeah, that might be fun though to do to take my phone or whatever and do like a IRL stream of just showing you guys fast food, showing you like how different the Japanese fast food is, and yeah, how they kind of deal with things. Good. Thank you, Yum. Oh, all right. Yeah, I'm enjoying drinking coffee as opposed to getting all tweaked out on energy drinks. I think that's much better. All right. Wow, I did it. And even in time, I was worried. Yeah, I had about 3 hours to do the stream, so I was worried I wasn't going to get it done today, but we did it. Oh, yeah, it's good to be back and to see everybody in the stream. I'm happy to have you guys back. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of the Japanese vloggers that show off MOS because it's very uniquely Japan. I mean, it's fast food and it's incredibly slow. Incredibly slow fast food, but really, really well done, really well made. Ah, yeah. I probably should do that because that's a big thing lacking on the Abuse Cartoons channel is only live streams, and I think if I did some smaller clips and things, it might be better. The channel might be doing better and might actually, like, you know, be recommended a little bit more than it is if I had some, because I think the mailing the Hyphonics snack box is the only like uploaded video on this channel. Nice. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, I should do that. Do some shorter videos to try to get some more attention, because the way I'm doing this channel now, obviously, is unless other streamers find me. Yeah, there's no discovery for Abuse Cartoons, which is a shame. But, so this means tomorrow we'll be streaming either with or without Chris. I'm not sure what the situation will be, but with or without Chris for the weekly. Maybe I can get Chris to line call in or something. We can do some weird holding up the phone version of the weekly. Yeah, so we'll be back to do the weekly next week. And yeah, that'd be fun. I got to do some more, get more involved in other content for this channel, because I think just the live streams, I can do this for 10 years and it's, you know, always going to kind of stay at the same level. Do something to grow the channel. I should have some guests on again too. That was fun to do. Is have because in the early versions, since I was just talking to myself, I would have some guests come on like Discord or whatever and just talk about cartooning and stuff. So that might be fun. I don't know. We'll see. Got to do something. But thank you guys for joining. I appreciate you showing up, and it was good to see you. Sorry, the schedule is so weird. I should be back to... I can't promise. I have no idea what's going to happen next week. But I should be back to normal, though. Doing some regularly scheduled live streams. And yeah, hope to see everybody then. So yeah, keep an eye out Monday night for the stream to go live. I'll try to do my usual Tuesday, Japanese Tuesday live streams. But Abuse Cartoons is the website, and all social media is Abuse Cartoons. And this stream is archived on both Twitch and YouTube. And patreon.com/abusecartoons if you want to support the stream. And thank you, John. John is it not yet? Oh, I can't remember. But second baby, I think has arrived. I can't remember or not. We've had like sporadic contact, but yeah, should be good. But yeah, clickbait, clickbait and blow up dolls. Nice. Oh yeah, Discord. Yeah, I should. I have a Discord that I was using for the game stuff, but I should set up a Abuse Cartoons Discord and have some little chats. That would be fun, so you could hear. We could hear each other sometimes. Ooh, that would be fun to to have some live talk. Yeah, thanks so much for being around, and I appreciate. I hope I'm entertaining enough, even in my weakened state. But yeah, it's always fun to talk to you guys, and hopefully it's always about something a little interesting. We'll be back next week with the same old song and dance. And yeah, take care, everyone. Have a good night and stay safe. I hope everything is getting easier and better and safer where you are. I hope it's doing that here. And I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow, so it might be me solo tomorrow, or hopefully Chris and I will talk about some game stuff. But yeah, in the meantime, everyone take care, and good to see you, Joe. It's been a while. Yeah, it's I keep missing you on the streams, so good to see you and wielding that blue wrench for me. I always appreciate that. Nice. All right, so everybody take care and see you again next time. So until then, goodbye. Bye.